All right. Well, today is going to be a little bit different. George is not here. He is in the chat apparently, but he is currently at the he's at the Gene Stallings viewing for his documentary there with a couple of other guys from that '92 team. So hopefully he's having fun. They're having a good time out there. I think they're in McKinney right now. So if you're not cool enough to be there with them, you get to be here with me. Today, we don't particularly have a list of topics or a game to truly review. We're, I guess, 2 weeks out or 2 shows away from when the end of the national championship game between Notre Dame and Ohio State. But really what I just want to do, hi, Cat, Roll Tide, is kind of go through this game. Not even really go. I shouldn't say go through this game. Hi, Josh, Roll Tide. What I'm going to do today is really kind of go through some of the different pressures and blitzes that Notre Dame and Ohio State both were using during that national championship game. And study that just a bit. So the backstory to this is with me being a defensive coordinator for the last 3 seasons, you're always trying to tweak things and find ways to get a little bit better. And one of the places that I thought we were lacking was our pressure packages and our pressure paths. So I'll talk about a little bit about what that means as we go through some of the film. But the idea is, how do we package things and set rules around how these different pressures, whether it be simulated 5-man or hot pressures, what they look like, when are they being used, and things like that. So there's not necessarily a set of plays like we usually do where we go through and we handpick plays to break down. This is less of a breakdown and more of a study. So hopefully I won't be on here too long looking at these clips. I've got about 29, and there was some stuff that I found interesting throughout the game. Anyway, there were 2 clips that I was like, oh, that's just kind of cool that you probably didn't see on the broadcast, but we're really kind of just learning together, and hopefully I'll be good enough to vocalize kind of what we're going to go through. So I guess first let's run the intro. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get straight into the film. There we go. I'm back. And we're kind of just going to look at this live. So let me move this logo out of the way, because that's going to be a little bit annoying. All right, so this is 2nd and 15. Now, I don't know that this is a passing situation for Notre Dame. I don't know what their tendencies were, but it's always kind of good to know down distance and situation here. So this looks like, I think we're still in the first quarter. And, well, maybe not. Oh, I can't read. It's right there. We're in the second quarter, top of the second quarter, 14 minutes left. Both teams have scored already. We know Notre Dame went down on their first drive, and this is kind of the start of their drought of not being able to move the ball very well. So I think I've got most of the Ohio State defensive clips first, and then the Notre Dame ones. Kat, I hope you're in for the ride, because I'm ready to learn something a little bit new too. So 2nd and 15. And what we're going to get out of this, I think most teams were in nickel a lot, where they've got 4 down linemen and two linebackers and 5 DBs. So this is actually a simulated pressure. And this is kind of the ones that I want to get more into. And I'll draw what a simulated pressure here is. And maybe if I'm good enough, I can pull up some of the things that I've drawn up for my own playbook. But it's all a simulated pressure. So first, a blitz is defined as anytime we send somebody off the ball, so not one of the linemen, any of these guys back here, if we're sending them to go rush the quarterback. Usually, that means you're sending these 4 plus one other person, could be anybody. So a simulated pressure is when you're going to bring one of these people, again, anybody back here, and then you're going to replace them. So it looks like we're sending 5, but we're actually just sending 4 as if they were 4 defensive linemen anyway. So what we're getting here is we're getting 3 rushers with a 4th as an insert, but then this defensive end is actually going to drop out. So you're still getting 4, but if the QB doesn't have his eyes correct, he's going to see this and assume there's 5. And this is how sometimes you get guys dropping into coverage, and you get one of those big man interceptions, like who was it? The guy from the Ravens, never thought he was really going to get an interception in his life. But sometimes when you surprise somebody and you drop out, you get those. First time seeing ads pop up during the show. That's crazy. We're only 8 minutes in. You're already getting them. All right. So here we go. I want to look at the back angle on this, because this is actually pretty good. They don't get Riley Leonard on the ground, but you can kind of see that we're getting a free lane right here. So really what I want to kind of do is dissect, like, what are we doing here to make sure that, one, all of our gaps are covered. We're still okay against the run. We don't want to just be completely unsound. And we're trying to get a 1-on-1 or a 1-on-0 here. So the first thing I kind of notice here is since he's leaving, somebody's got to be able to set the edge here. So this is what I call COP technique, COP, contain, outside pressure. So now he's the guy that's going to replace here. We've already got somebody that's going to do that here, and then I don't know how they're calling their scheme, but let's see. Maybe he was just lined up in a 3 already, which would kind of put him in the B gap. He's not. He's actually in a 2-eye. Josh says, "Yeah, I remember Blake Sims threw an interception to a lineman in the playoff game that year." Yeah, that happens. So I'm not sure if this is built into the call here or not, on whether or not he's supposed to get into this B gap instead of staying in the A. This is kind of something that I've drawn up and we do already, just to go ahead and kind of get this and try to get shoulders to turn, which I think is kind of what ends up happening here. He steps here. He stepped to help. And because of how well this is timed up, I don't think the center's doing a very good job here, but that's not the point of this study today. It's really just like, how are we getting, what are the designs here to get this linebacker free? And I actually really like this. And we'll go back to the wide angle. Because 44, I think I'm going to butcher his name. So I'm not going to say it. I didn't come prepared, but him being able to work through and take the back, I think that's kind of the hot route right here. Right. And he's not there. He's sitting in the window. This is great. So to give him a little props here, because this is hard to do. A lot of guys want to run straight and take this, and they're leaving space behind him. But he's actually going to gain depth, take away this route while covering the swing. And that keeps Riley Leonard holding the ball just a little bit longer than he otherwise would have. And we've got a free runner. So this is pretty good. I want to be able to do more things like this. All right, so now it's 1st and 10. Ohio State scored again. We're still in the second quarter. Half the clock is gone already. Thanks, Craig. Yeah, we have grown quite a bit thanks to viewers like you. Okay, so we get a little bit of motion. All right, so now we've got something coming from the field. And I think this is typically called, I don't know, maybe they called it and they knew they wanted the nickel to go. There's a lot of things that could be going on here. And these are things that you, unless you're probably going to talk to Jim Knowles or somebody that was on the defensive staff, you're probably never going to be able to figure out whether or not they called the blitz for this guy. Did they say, we want the blitz to come from the field and take the path that's coming off the edge? Or if it was something that they were trying to, attack an attached tight end. I'm going to say they probably weren't trying to attack the attached tight end on this one because this guy is already pointing and saying, hey, he's coming. He looks a little suspect. So I don't know if it's a design nickel blitz or if this is just we want to bring the blitz from the field. Either way, we know that this guy's coming. So then I want to know, since we know we're going to have pressure coming off the edge here, what are we going to do with this defensive end? Because that was his job, right? Set the edge, contain outside pressure, whatnot. We may want to send him in here, and then we got to figure out what we're going to do with the guys in the back. Because you're still going to want to create a pocket and then eventually collapse that. So they get somebody in here to help. He steps out. He's going to pick up this blitz. That's actually pretty good. But then you have pullers too. So it looks like who is this? I think this is Sawyer. He's got to make a cut. He's got to take his cut step and get into B gap to try to shorten this edge. Now they've added an extra body right here to kind of wall that off. So it ends up not being a great call for this blitz because ideally your nickel is coming off this edge right here, but he's getting blocked. You've got somebody for the running back, and now we've got guys overcommitting. So this is not particularly the fault of the blitz, I don't think. I think this is just a pretty good play call. And the motion helps this out. I think without the motion, without him actually picking this up, Notre Dame might have an issue on this one. All right, so now we're into the third quarter. 1st and 10. Ohio State's up big, 21 points. We've got more motion coming in. We've got rotation in the secondary, right? We had a press corner up top. Now he's going to bail off. And then we've got a backer. We've got a backer blitzing. So we've got another simulated pressure, right? He's going to drop out. We're going to bring him in. Looks like he's going to be the cop guy. And these two are going to be on their standard rush. And then what are we doing with the back? Okay. So then we're going to play zone behind it. Sit in the middle of the field, watch quarterback's eyes. Okay. Yeah, so again, we just have to make sure that all of our responsibilities are here. Now I've seen this is a little bit tougher. Now, they've got athletes up here, right? So I've seen where we want to get through the B gap and then contain that way. So we want to try to push through here and create the pocket rather than just go out here immediately because, if he's going out here immediately, this guy bails and this guy's going in here. If we get an inside zone, that's not great. We've just vacated the area. But again, I think 91 does a pretty good job of identifying pass So he gets a pass set, and he's like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and work out this way. Now, we're not getting... They do a bit better of a job here, right? The center last time, he stepped to 58. He stepped here, and we got the pressure. So I don't know. He's clearly working this way. Last time it did draw him, but I feel like I like the idea of stabbing, trying to get in here, and then working out so that you can try to get this guy to turn his shoulders. Right? Because now you're getting the one-on-one again. And he's still fighting through here. But I want to try to avoid this. Okay. 2nd and 10. Okay. And this one's a little bit more exotic, I think. We've actually got, looks like a little bit of a cross dog here. Or a hug rush. And we might be playing a little game. Maybe some tooth or tail here. It's kind of difficult to figure out whether these guys are actually blitzing or if they're just reading something, which is good. If you're on the defensive side, this is what you want. You want your offensive coordinators sitting here trying to figure, like, are these guys actually that good, or are they on some kind of game here? And I feel like they're on some kind of game because we're gonna get this motion, or this stunt here again to open the center. He's gonna try to fight through the guard. He's going to make him right. So then you say, okay, if he's going over here, who's going to replace him? And I think that's going to be Downs. I think that's why the safety's in here. The safety is in here to insert. We call that a stab. Safety to B gap. Right. And I like this too, because you actually get an extra man in the box. So what kind of coverage are they running behind this? Because they've got to work together, right? So you've got a tight end. And I think this is kind of cool here. So I call this a jam 6. Well, I guess this is kind of going to be a jam 9 because he's actually not in a 6. A 6 would be head up on the center, on the tight end. But he's in a wide 9. But I think that Mr. Sawyer here is responsible for the tight end, and that's why you don't actually get a pass rush out of him. He's trying to figure out, hey, are you about to release? You know, you're blocking me, but I need to stay on this in case you're trying to release, because the safety is actually going to be helping us out here. So it's, if that's the case, this is still a simulated pressure, because if this guy is going to release, and he's an athlete now, so you know it's not unreasonable to think that he can't cover or at least run with a tight end for a little bit. But this is not his normal pass rush, and that's kind of why I'm saying that. Right? He's just trying to get hands on the tight end. He's working with him until he gets to the ball, whereas Downs is selling out on the run here. So I think they've kind of flip responsibilities, and that allows this to happen, right? And I like that. Getting another guy in the box to, just kind of swap responsibilities with folks to give a different look. So this is 3rd and 8. We're in the third quarter. You're down 21 points. I'm thinking here this is probably a passing situation. Ball's on the 27 of Notre Dame there, so they're not backed up, but you need this one, right? So you got backers walked up. You got some motion. I like this here. You got 3/3, right? And then you've got 2/1. And then you got your backers walked up, but then you're going to get some motion. So then you're going to start seeing, some of this where we're going to roll. They may call this rolling 6 or whatever, but they'll get down here. And this is actually a pretty good play too. So we'll kind of break this one down because I saw this and thought it was pretty good. But before we get to that, 0's on a spy. I think at this point they're not terrified of this guy, but they know that he can make a play with his legs here. So the other reason I kind of put this one on here and thought it was interesting is because you've got 4 eyes and wide 5s, right? You're just kind of just giving this up right here, which is, I think, why they kind of need the spy, because you know that this guy can run. But you want to show some kind of presence in here so that the draw doesn't just come easily. So it looks like they're actually spying with both backers, right? He steps up. One of them is going to end up taking the back if he leaves. The other one's going to take the quarterback. Probably just kind of Reggie that off. And if nobody comes, so they're kind of just waiting. 0 does pick up the back so that he doesn't leak out. Kind of just stays on it. Now, I want you guys to kind of take a look at this route. This is how offenses be scheming up these defenses, using every obstacle they can, every pick they can to get open, right? So we've got man-to-man right here. This is the sticks. So he's kind of just sitting, waiting for anything to come to the sticks. He's playing the sticks. He's foot firing, and he realizes, oh, my receiver's going underneath. So now he's got to go over this guy, and he's got to go over the ref and make the tackle. And he does. He gets on his horse, and he makes a tackle 1 yard short. But that could have easily gone for a lot more yardage with how far he had to run here. Okay. What down we got? First down. We're up 24 now. And we got more coming from the field. So probably, yeah, this is just, we're gonna roll cover 1 here. We're at a man, gets to the middle of the field, man this guy. You've always gotta look. Yeah, if he would have threw the ball earlier, absolutely. He probably could have gotten away. But let's actually take a look at it. I wonder if he had his eyes down because of some of this pressure or not, or if he's looking backside. I think it's just the read. He's probably looking at this first. And he comes back too late. Yeah, because he doesn't throw it until he gets in his vision. I don't know. Not an offensive guy. So I can't really tell you what progression should be, but okay. So this is interesting. 1st and 10, right? We know Riley Leonard's a runner. We got 3 receivers out this way. This is why you've got your backer in a hip. You're looking for any kind of stick or anything like that. And he can fold back in. Typically, you see the front. You see an underfront instead of an overfront here. So over meaning the 3 technique is to the strong side. Since there's no tight end, strong sides, the wide side or the passing strength. Generally, the strength is subjective, but generally that's how. And you normally, I shouldn't say normally either, but a lot of teams will move this guy over and move him to the 3 right here so that A gap is covered. And if anything leaks out, it's going to leak out to B, which is closer for your hip linebacker. But again, these dudes are athletes. A lot of them are going to be playing on Sunday. You don't necessarily have to worry about the things that I got to worry about sometimes because it's not that big of a deal. Now, in this case, it's definitely not that big of a deal because you're actually just going to get the stunt. And this is not a great stunt by 96, but he's going to go in here and you're sending him through the B gap. So kind of all takes care of itself anyway. Running back stays in, and the center does a good job of helping and then picking up the other backer. And it's a pretty good pickup. I mean, that's just a good play. Again, they're not all going to be Arizona State, Iowa State, where dude just comes in straight through A gap and hits the quarterback in the face. It's really fun when it's that way, but a lot of times it's not. 2nd and 8. This is actually just a couple plays later. Same thing, and we're sending another linebacker. And this is a hug rush. I like these. I just have to figure out how to teach these. Okay. So again, apparently they like to send 0. Maybe 0 is pretty good at his job here. Okay, so we're going to get the same thing. This time we're going to occupy the center. Right? We're going to try to cross his face. We're going to get in here. He's going to try to take the other A gap, and then we can sneak a guy in here. And I think the only reason that he goes in here, which is why we call it a hug rush, is he's got to put his eyes on the running back. If the running back stays in, you got the green light. Right? Now you can go. But if the running back leaves, you might have to leave and take it. So I'm going to say that wasn't the case, and this is actually just this is what I would call a Lamar path. That's just a nugget that means nothing to anybody else. But you can get this linebacker cross because he takes a step out. And he doesn't look like he's worried about the running back. But now the running back sees that and he realizes he's got to get back across the formation. And he's late. So this was pretty nice. I like this one. And there's the peel. Okay. So we're learning here. So I was just saying, I thought this was a hug rush because I thought he'd have the back, but he wasn't concerned. He just went ahead and took this path. So who has the back? And there's your simulated pressure. He has the back. Oh, that's nice. I like that one. So you're going to get your cop here, contain outside pressure. You're going to get your nose crossing face. So you're going to get a nose stunt. I think he's the will. So if he was the will, this would be a wobble. Or no, this would be a whoa or wham because he's going through A gap. And then you're going to get the cross here through B and A. And you've got everything taken care of except for this gap right here. And you say, well, who's got this gap? Well, your safety needs to come help you because he's going to peel with the back. And you can see him do that. He's thinking the back's going out, so he's not rushing. We're getting shoulders turned, which is exactly what we want. Get those shoulders turned. And the back is not in a great position. Yeah, no, that's some good tape right there. I like that one. I'm actually going to try to. This would be a good time to see if there is any any highlighted plays that I had on the defensive side of the ball here. There were not. Because I want to show you. I want to show you two things that I did think were pretty cool that are not just pressures. But we'll get to that in a second. You have to stick around a little bit. So where we at? Not that one. Okay. Okay, so now it's 3rd and 4. Kind of things on the table. It's still the third quarter. You got a whole quarter to go. You get in this bunch look again. And here you go. You're bringing another guy from the field. And who would it be other than Zero? And this one's not all too complicated. This is just, hey, everybody's going to go a gap over. You can take this gap if you need to. We're going to run through here. And I mean, it's simple enough, right? You got to help at least a little bit because you think he's going to step there because he's in a shade. He's going to work this way. You got the contains, and then if you can get his shoulders to turn and his shoulders to turn, you got a free runner and you've got one-on-one with the back, which is what you like. Typically, you think, hey, my linebacker is gonna be better at this than the running back. If you can get those one-on-ones, you win enough of them. But he gets the ball out pretty quickly. So again, they're not always winners. 3rd and 1. So sometimes this is just a run pressure. Like there are different types of pressures. You know, we talked about the Sims and the creepers, which are the same thing. We talked about just a 5-man pressure. But there are also like just run blitzes where you're expecting a run and you're not particularly trying to do a lot of the twists in the games and things like that, the things that are a little bit more elaborate because you don't have time. You're just trying to plug gaps. And I think that's kind of what would be going on here, right? Because you've got guys just coming off the edge. You've got the safety here. Downs is just coming in, just trying to hit somebody and make a wall. And we won't necessarily dissect on like what the actual problem is or how Riley Leonard leaks out here, but they do have non-exotic blitzes too, and this kind of just looks like a saw, a double edge blitz. Okay. 2nd and 10, more motion. You get a middle field safety coming down. Down's going in the middle of the field, and then you've kind of got that same kind of path from these linebackers, right? Where you're going to get this and then across. Probably the same blitz out of the same package. Here goes. And the back does a better job picking this up. The back is actually what kind of saves you here. Because if he picks this up right here, this is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And they pick it up. And again, always talking about like it's always a big deal. Who has the running back? If you're sending these people, if it's a hot blitz and you're going to send 6, meaning all of these are going, the back is your check down and he's going to be open. And we actually saw this in the Iron Bowl. Auburn on offense. Alabama sent 7. Actually, just left the back. That was intentional. Left the back saying, hey, you don't have enough time. It's 3rd and a long ways. Actually, it might have been 4th down. You don't have enough time to find the back and get the 1st down. And he didn't. He found the back and promptly got blasted by Malachi Moore. Incomplete. But, again, Sawyer here. He's spying the back. Back goes across. He's not sure if it's a pass or not, if he's trying to leak out. So he's the one that's gotta take him. And there you go. You can see him. And that's kind of what a hug rush looks like, right? You're looking at the back. He goes across. You're going across too. And if the back stays in, so let's just pretend that Riley Leonard's going to hold on to this ball and he's not throwing it. Once Sawyer sees that he's picking up this blitz right here, he now has the green light to overlap this way. Like one more gap over to get that. And now we got to get guys on the ground. Okay, so we got another one here. This is just a very good call. Right? You've got another blitz by number 0. That's crazy. I didn't realize that when I was picking these plays, that is like the same dude all the time that's on the blitz. And I'm thinking, you're like, oh yeah, we got him. Great call. Nowhere to go, and then you get hit with the shovel pass. Tough. And then, as always, my favorite guy on the field. Right here. Always having to run with that big old camera. Okay, so game's getting a little bit tighter. You got to actually start playing some defense again. This is probably the last one I'm going to look at for Ohio State because now we're going to get corner blitzes. And you're always in danger of this. Like, okay, right? So this is, let's look at the formation, right? It was doubles. You got a guy motioning across. So now you've got the Y, the tight end who's close, and you're into the boundary. So you always, as an offense, have to realize the potential here, right? And they set this up kind of nice. So anytime that you're looking at the end zone angle, right? If you're looking at the end zone angle and you can actually like see the corner in the end zone angle, like alarm bell should be going off. Then you've got your linebackers, right? So he's going to get out into a hip, right? Because there's 3 receivers out this way. You got 2 open gaps. What down is this? This is a little ridiculous. Okay, it's 3rd and 9. Okay. So that makes sense. It's a passing down, right? It's 3rd and 9. You've got 2 open gaps in the middle. You're not particularly worried about it. Why? Because they got to get 9. So even if they get 5 and you tackle them, it's 4th down. You're cool with that. But you can't just like leave them. Right. And this is the thing that's been fascinating to kind of learn about and watch over the course of the season is like, you would never line up on this like this in first down. This is bananas. You got both of your linebackers outside of the box. So, I mean, we're talking about the box. Like there's two Ohio State defenders in here. It's wild. But your safety's down here to help. He's in a 5. You got a shade. He's in a hip technique. The other linebacker, not only is he not in the box and he's not in a hip technique, he lines up outside of the number 1 receiver. He is outside the corner. They got to zoom out. Like, they got to zoom out to get him. And because they're into the boundary, you're getting, and this is pretty cool, right? You're thinking, yeah, he's got the cop, or he can stun inside. He actually goes over 2 gaps, it looks like. So this is another one I might need to put in the arsenal. He's going here. He's going here. He's going here. And then you got this dude. It's a corner blitz, and the corner's not even the widest guy coming out. The corner's in a razor instead of coming off the edge like a knife. And they pick it up. It's pretty good. Now, they didn't pick it up in the sense of like 20's got to do a little bit better to get a hand out of his face, but Riley Leonard makes a pretty good throw here anyway, regardless. But this could have been really nasty. Okay, we only got 2 more on this one. Then we'll take a short break. Let's just see. Is this anything new? No. 1st and 10. It looks like they sent the other linebacker this time. Maybe this is a hug rush. Let's see. Let's see what they're doing with the back. Got some motion. There he goes. Okay. Yeah, so you got a little bit of a hug rush. There it is. Again, you're taking these linemen and just trying to move them in different gaps so you can get holes open like this. You get the one-on-one with the back, and now this time he's responsible for the back, and the back stays in the block. So because he's in the block, now I get to insert, get in the way. He's still making good throws. Okay. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and I've got 2 clips I want to show you of when things just go wrong defensively and great play calling by the offense. So give me 90 seconds.
Hey everybody, George Teague here, formerly of the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Dallas Cowboys. So let me ask you a question. Are you an athlete or a coach looking to boost your online visibility? Well, you've got to check out On3. Their personalized web pages amplify the total you on and off the field. Whether you want to grow your visibility, build your brand, or simply show the world who you truly are, On3 is here for you. They showcase the complete person, celebrating your passions, perseverance, and the pursuit of excellence beyond sports. These web pages are the ultimate digital hub to elevate your brand and highlight your journey. So head on over to www.on3.io/microsites and get started with On3 today.
Okay, so I said 90 seconds and I said 2 plays, but I'm going to do you one better. 60 seconds and 3 plays. So here we go. Ohio State's got the ball. We're back. It looks like the first play of the second quarter. Right? Okay. So, anytime you got a corner jumping around, pointing at somebody, it gets your attention on the film, right? Where you're like, okay, what is he so animated about? So I guess this must have been some kind of tendency, and he's already like, yep, Jeremiah Smith is going in motion, and we need to be ready for this. But they got him on this play because apparently that was a tendency, looks like. And it's one of those things is like super game theory, right? Notre Dame knows that Ohio State does this thing very often out of this set or whatever. And Ohio State knows that Notre Dame knows this. So check out what happens here. This is like brilliant by Chip Kelly, right? You're getting the fake. It looks like reverse. And look at this man right here. Look at my guy. He is so convinced that it's a jet sweep that he just turns and he's hauling tail, getting across the formation. And Jeremiah Smith came back. It was a return motion. Boom. And, I'm sure during the game, a lot of people are like, I don't understand how this dude is wide open. He's catching the ball where he started at. Well, this is how. And he actually had a couple people open. I mean, he could have thrown this out here, but the design of this and messing with people. This is fantastic because he's just running, trying to get across there. He's like, I have to get to this jet sweep. I got to get to the reverse. Okay, so the next one, Ohio State again. We're coming down almost to the 2-minute warning in the second quarter. I don't actually remember what this one was, but I marked it for some reason. I think I marked this one on accident. Sorry. I guess you do only get 2 plays because I don't remember why I clicked on that one. But I do remember. And this is not necessarily like the greatest, you know, it's nothing like trickery like that. This is just more of like how you can tell that that Notre Dame's a well-coached team with Al Golden, even though he's with the Cincinnati Bengals now, because this is how you defend play action. And you're looking at your corners and your linebackers and things like that. So this linebacker, as much as he sees like QB sweep, right, and lead around, we got the corner coming up to come help you. This is trusting your guys, right? And he sees a receiver, and he actually locks onto this receiver and ends up playing coverage. And because he plays coverage, and because the safeties are staying back, we've got a chance to actually make a play here. Now, it's not great because he's got a little bit lazy, but for the most part, that's what you want out of your defense, is to be disciplined enough to say, oh, I might actually be getting past here. I still need to do my job. But at least they get him on the ground. Oh, bonus. Another fire? Let's see. And I think this is secondary here. Just the versatility of corners. You don't particularly see a lot of this at the high school level for various reasons. But you've got your 2 safeties here. One's down, one's in the middle of the field. They're showing middle of the field closed. And then you start getting this motion. And because now there's just a tight end over here, the corner actually drops back to be the safety. And he looks like he's going to play deep half. Or maybe he's going to play middle of the field, and they're actually going to roll this way. Which is cool that you have a guy that's versatile enough to actually do this and feel comfortable playing in the middle of the field. Right. And then once he starts to go back, you know, you got your pre-snap read, right? Pre-snap look. And then you got your motion. So just playing that chess match now. Okay, we're going to roll the other way. We're going to roll the other way. Give the quarterback that look. And again, the chess match is we're gonna try to sneak him back right across, and instead of him sitting here and him staying down, we're actually still just gonna roll back post snap. And I like this. I like the communication. And actually, now I think I just remembered why we had this play on here, or why I had this play on here, because what I was going to talk about was, oh, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't this play. There's one of them where you can see the communication between these defensive players. It's not here. Oh well, but there's one where the safety actually comes down and moves a linebacker like into a different position, and those are the things that I like to see with defenses, is that when everybody knows what's going on, not just, oh, I know what I have on this coverage. I have deep half and you know nothing else. You know where everybody's supposed to be and how that affects your position and how you fit into that puzzle piece, so that you can then you can then correct other people before the mistakes happen. And I wish I could find that for y'all, but I guess I didn't mark it. So I got about 8 minutes, and we'll finish up with just a couple of clips here from the Notre Dame side, because I mean they bring pressure too, right? And I particularly like this one because they're showing man. He kind of tips it a little bit, but I think when you're live in the game, like you if you're on the field, you don't notice this. But essentially what they've got here is they're trying to show man, and he's coming off the edge, which is great. You know, you've got a nickel blitz here. Cool stuff. But with the motion, what he's trying to show is we're just going to shift over. I'm still going to have 2. I'm still going to have 3. And that actually moves him closer to the ball. The reason I say he tipped this a little bit is because he actually runs past the number 2 receiver, because that's his guy, and he knows that he's on a blitz and the safety's going to take this. But again, that's so, like, I don't think you're going to see this in the game. But the running back picks it up. So it's just fun watching that chess match. And I think we just gotta get an A-gap plug here. Right, yeah. We're just gonna try. And I hope the safety shows up. Yeah, the safety's coming down to fill this B gap right here. But Trayvon Henderson's a pretty good back. But there's only a couple more that I want to show here. There's a few more cool things that Notre Dame did. I'm also kind of looking at the blitz technique too, of like, hey, I'm trying to get in here, give the guy your back, plug up that hole. There should be nowhere to go, but somebody's got to fill this right here. Number 97's got to make a tackle. Somebody's got to make a tackle. It's 3rd and 5. Oh, okay. Look, here we go. This is what I'm looking for right here. Right? The running back has left, made it an empty formation, and you've got your safety like, hey, that's not mine. You, Mr. Linebacker, y'all need to figure that out, because that's not my guy. Hey, look, it's empty. Bump out. Here we go. Blitz is off. It was, you know, I don't know if it was a blitz or not, but this kind of makes me think like it was. And he's like, hey, we're in empty now. Hey, move over. We're out. Now we've got nobody for the quarterback, but hey, it'd be like that sometimes. But you gotta love the communication. And you've also got to like when teams are brave enough to bring a safety. Just when you run into a tight end like that, not particularly good enough. We're still leaving guys open in the flat, and it's like, look, somebody's going to be open if you're going to bring somebody. You just you got to get there fast enough or confuse somebody so that the quarterback doesn't find it so easily. But Will Howard does a good job. Okay, so we got another hug rush here, and if he gets there a little bit sooner, this would have been a nice little stunt right here. We call this lasso a little bit instead of a tech stunt or an exit that would come right here. He actually gets all the way across the formation. We've seen Tennessee do this a couple times with James Pierce. But I like this. Boom. But Ken, you just got to get there sometimes. You gotta hold up in the back end just long enough. Okay, this is gonna be my last one here because this is really the one I wanted to get to. Paying attention to this, and I'm like, how can we disguise things too, right? It's one thing to actually just make it look like man, right? It's like, okay, I'm staring at my guy and I'm going to come late. We see that all the time. You try to do a little bit better on that. But he actually fakes a blitz here, right? He says, all right, I'm going. I'm not going. I can do this because I'm actually going to hinge and just play inside leverage. And it might even be trail technique because he might have help over the top of the safety. And he does, it looks like, but they're getting run action too. But that's also really, really cool of faking the blitz, turning inside and say, all right, I'm taking away mesh and I'm going to run with you on the seam and I'll give you the out. But I've got a safety that's going to drive on the out and help me on the seam. I'm good in here. Yeah, so we're gonna have to keep that one in my back pocket too. That's novel. I've never seen that before. Maybe more teams do it, but that's the first time I've actually seen this. Yeah, they are playing soft, and let's see what point of the game is this. Yeah, and that might have been Dwight. That might be part of the game plan, right? Because they got so many freaking receivers that could run by you. But I mean, Notre Dame's secondary is pretty good. It's not that they're not slouches. So maybe they thought they could come up and drive on some stuff. But I mean, he's 8 yards off the ball. He's 10 yards off. Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible because he puts his foot in the ground. He gets up there. You are kind of hamstrung here, though, because you did fake this blitz and then jump inside, and then he can just seal this guy, and then you make the safety come make the tackle. So, again, maybe not the best play call here, or maybe a better play call by Chip Kelly. Because, I mean, they get exactly what they want. But, yeah, I mean, maybe that's why it got out of hand there for a little bit, and then they started to try to tighten up a little bit. I didn't dissect the game like that. I was really, like I said at the beginning of the stream, it was really just, hey, there are certain things that I'm looking for to better our defense, better my system, and teach some new techniques and things like that, where it's like, look, we got two high-level defenses, and I want to see, what they're doing. Yes, do have to contain the edge. And, yeah, the linebacker here, he probably shouldn't go underneath. He probably needs to go over the top. But, and Josh says, looks like the receiver actually points the blitz out. He does, except they dummied him because he's not actually blitzing. Thought he was. And it's actually like there's so many different things that could have just, like, if he had an idea that this was actually a toss, like he goes and makes this play. Like, if he puts his foot in the ground because he thinks he's gone, he's going to the safety. And you've got your guy that's unblocked right here. But, oh well. I mean, that's the way cookie crumbles. Hey, roll Tide. Sorry you're just joining because we're just ending, but you can always go back and catch the hour. We did quite a bit of film today. Not your typical Teague's Take where we're breaking down things and telling the tale of the tape. Just trying to learn little bit, watch some cool stuff when it comes to blitzing and simulated pressures and what can I add to the tool belt. And there are more teams that I want to get into and look at what they're doing too, especially on third downs. Because when you start getting into those weird fronts and third downs where you can just leave multiple gaps open and say, look, we're fine. It's a passing down. Is a mindset that I have to see enough and understand the scenarios around to get comfortable doing, just like leaving a gap open. I mean, it makes sense if it's 3rd and 15 and you're down and you're up and they've got to throw the ball. Like, I get it, but you can't always do that, right? And you do that to somebody like Lamar Jackson, and he's scooting for 40. And even with Will Howard and Riley Leonard, sometimes but you've got athletes all over the field right now. So you kind of just have to pick your spots. But I think those are typically reserved just for third down to make you kind of change the protection a little bit. And it's just like the offense likes to mess with the defense. You know, I want to find different ways that the defense can mess with the offense a little bit, make them change the protection, slide one way, bring the blitz somewhere else, pick on a guy who maybe doesn't do so well in pass pro, whether you're trying to attack the center, or you're trying to attack one of the edges, or you're trying to cross and pick people. We've seen those too, where the defensive ends are doing the twists, but they're not twisting and trying to both get around. They're just picking setting a pick for their other defensive end or defensive tackle so that they can run behind it and get into a free gap that way. So there's plenty of things that we can add. It's just now it's a matter of, okay, you see it, you got to put it on paper, you got to put rules around it, you've got to think of all the different scenarios and edge cases, then you got to figure out how you're going to teach it to your players. And this is kind of just the first step in that. And I appreciate you guys for joining me on that little journey, looking at the national championship game and trying to figure out, hey, what is this? What's this look like, and what are some of the rules and how we're going to cover the back? So with that, once again, I'm super appreciative, but it's getting late. It's raining outside, and I got to get on the road tomorrow. So peace out.